Okay. Firstly, it's a pleasure talking to you. You know, your music was a soundtrack to me growing up. It really was. So it's a real big pleasure.
Absolute pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Oh, what I want to know is Metrofest. How did that all come about, and what can we expect from you at the festival?
Well, Metrofest was I got a call from the people at Metrofest, the promoters. They wanted to know if I'd be a part of it. I was so honored. I was like, of course, what do you mean? I miss my London family, my UK fam. I mean, come on, like it's a no-brainer for me. And then to share the stage with the likes of Fat Joe,
Yeah.
Blackstreet. I'm a huge fan of R&B and hip hop. So, isn't it evident? I mean, in the music.
Yeah, of course, of course.
So
Yeah.
it's really, for me, it's to be included with those people is a great honor.
Yeah.
We've all been doing this 20 plus years, and we've all sold millions, millions of records. So it wasn't about who has hits and who's done what, because we've all done it.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and it's a beautiful thing to celebrate each other's music like this, even if it is like a little, a little small amount of time. I would rather have a little bit more time with y'all, but at the same time, you're just grateful for any time that we get. So, and with being cooped up with COVID, it's just so beautiful to come back out now and grace everybody with some good energy. I know people need some good energy right now, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, of course. So what can we expect from you at the festival?
Well, we're going to celebrate some songs, that some classics.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sing my heart out for you. That's what.
Oh, gosh, yeah. I think a lot of people are looking forward to that when you do. They really are.
I'm looking forward to it.
When it comes to your live shows, do your fans in the UK differ to the fans in the States?
I will say the one way that they may differ is the song selection. Certain songs in the UK were big records, top 10 singles that didn't really make it out here in the States. They didn't really be as mainstream successful. Didn't mean that it didn't mean that they wasn't feeling it. It's just a matter of it fitting the format for what was kind of like more common in the UK. Like, y'all have a deep appreciation for so many different styles and genres of music and have had it for so many years.
Yeah.
We just kind of got, over the last, I would say 10, 15 years, we just kind of got to that page to where we're as eclectic of a nation as you guys. But I think that took a lot of influence from y'all, and watching y'all's format and how universal it really is. Because I love all music. I don't know about you, but I love all music. It would really be hard to find any type of style of music that I couldn't sit there and go find something that I could relate to about it. You know what I mean?
I'm sure maybe thrash metal or something might be a bit.
Well, yeah, maybe that. You might lose me, but I might, I might be able to slow all that down and screw that John and make it right. You never know.
Yeah, you can find perfection in everything, can't you, if you look hard enough?
I can use it as ingredients. That's my thing. Like I might not be able to use the lyrics or anything, but I could take a snare or whatever. So it's just my mind works different when it comes to music. Anything's impossible, and also kind of like hear people's stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's a good ingredient. That's a nice ingredient. Little pepper, little salt, little extra, onion powder. Oh, I see where you are. It's like cooking. You use a certain sound, a certain seasoning to create that energy. I think you really pay attention after a while as a producer. You're like, okay, it's really nothing new under the sun. I feel like it's just great ways of doing things, and if you pay attention. If you pay attention to how to do it, then you could do it too. So yes.
England or the UK is like your second home. So what do you like most about the UK?
I love one of the things I just described, how eclectic it is of a nation. I mean, first of all, it's is so much of a melting pot of so many different cultures. The one place that we have that's kind of like that in the United States is New York City. You know, New
Yeah.
York is very, very mixed up. It's like I love the energy in New York because it's everybody on top of everybody right there, boom, and nobody could go anywhere without dealing with the other one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're so close. So the energy ends up being this thing that we both can own and we're both a part of and we both accept because we got to live with each other every single day, right? So it ends up being this real, like, beautiful blending process that happens. I'm a product of that blending, you know what I mean? So I'm where that is kind of like reminds me of what raised me, the energy that raised me, which is that blending process. Man, that culture crossover that exists where you put, you know, an old English bloke, you know, from like,
bloke.
yeah. And you know, he's like all cockney with it, walking up like, "What's up?" You know, I don't know. And then you got, you know, another guy who's like, you know, all put together and like whatever, you know, on some really like uptown whatever. And then they end running into each other and they, you know, they have a beer and they chop it up and it's like, oh, okay, you're not so bad, are you? You know what I mean? We can.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love that about England. In general, is we can always find these little nooks and these little places, not necessarily a pub, it could be somewhere somewhere nice, you know, to have like, you know, lunch or something, whatever, or dinner. But it just feels like there's this very intimate sort of romantic energy that I look at as romantic because it's very other than what's at home. You know, I don't get to walk outside and see the same things. And hear the accent is another thing that is very, just for me, is inspiring, you know, because your accent is so lovely. I love
Have you mastered it yet?
Well, I know I would never say that because you guys would probably tell me I sound Australian.
Yeah,
that's what I usually get told. It's like, no, that's more Australian. Like, I'm a fan of those bands as well. No, I grew up, you know, being a huge fan of all the English bands in the 80s as a young kid, and watching all the interviews and taping it all on VHS and listening to how they would speak and being so inspired by that, you know. Like, you know, it's like I was like a little boy paying attention to mannerisms, and that's kind of like the reason why I feel like to this day I'm detailed in my answers when it comes to doing interviews. I feel like it's all the early influence that I had of watching all my favorite artists from, just so happens to be they were all from the UK, and very, very descriptive, you know. People like George Michaels, people like Duran Duran, people like David Bowie, you know what I mean? It's, you know, Sade is an incredible musical on me, her style, her smoothness.
Did you like Soul to Soul?
Soul to Soul is one of my favorite bands from the 90s, like the soul groups that came out of, you know, like a DJ combo, Karen Wheeler, her voice. Yeah, amazing. And I actually worked with Jazzy B back in 96 was my first time coming to Camden town.
Oh, your second home, isn't it, Camden?
Yeah, I love Camden, and so I try to make it with that way and do some shopping, you know, if I can. My wife loved that little cobblestone roads and just the quaintness of everything is very, very beautiful. And I love the faces, all the beautiful, the culture walking through. It's just so beautiful to see so many different, every walk of life from all around the globe, you know.
Yeah. It does. Camden is a good representation of London. I think it encompasses everything. When you think of, oh gosh, sorry.
It does come. It's a total mix and melting pot, isn't it?
Yeah. So, is there any UK musician at the moment that you're really feeling?
From the UK.
Yeah, at the moment.
Yeah, I will say, I actually did a collaboration with Dua Lipa not too long ago. Yeah. She featured on a remix for the group Brockhampton.
Right.
And they featured me as well. And I was you know, just completely flabbergasted by the call that they called me to feature with her. And I was like, wow, okay, they love some R&B now from they want to reach back to a 90s cat like me, you know, and show some love. So I love to see that. And I love that we can hear our voices on the same song. For me, it's just like a dream come true, because I really want to collaborate with her. I'd love to get in the studio and proper proper collaboration going, you know. So yeah, but till that day, this song will have to do, and it's a beautiful song. It's called Sugar. The song is called Sugar, and it's the remix featuring your boy Dua Lipa. You gotta check it out.
Okay. So describe an average working day, you know, a music day for Jon B.
Well, I would say the process that I'm in right now is mixing.
Sorry. We do apologize for that. Sorry. And yeah, describe a typical day as a musician for Jon B, your musical day.
Well, at this point, a musical day will consist of me mixing my songs, which is no longer having to like record anymore. It's more about taking everything that I've recorded and balancing out all the volumes of all the sounds, making sure that everything's EQ'd the right way and has the right reverbs and echoes and all that. And it's basically gonna sound like I want it to sound forever, because after you mix it and I give it to you guys, there's no more touching it, no more fixing it. So it's really about that process happening, you know, in a sense. A lot of repetition is just hearing the song over and over and making those subtle changes. Yeah, at this point, it's like weird because I've been working on the same songs for a long time. So it's interesting. I like to involve other ears. Right now, I'm working with a really talented young man, 26-year-old guy from LA, who's his name is Chris O'Bannon, and he's an artist himself, but he's actually a really talented mix engineer. So he's in here with me right now, and he's putting his ears on these songs, man. And we're mixing. I think we mixed 5 songs so far, and we've got 6 songs to go. So we're about halfway through. But I mean, all of the production and recording is done for the album. So that's really the hardest part, and the mixing is kind of like putting the icing on the cake, you know. Then we get the single, you know, really sort of like figured out what the next single is, and we film a video for that. And I'm trying to get a feature together right now, currently for my album. So that's kind of like the holdup. Really, it's been being able to get back out on the road, get the the economic part of what we do, get that flowing again in a way where it makes sense to be able to get a rapper on your song and put, you know, and go stunt a little bit, or, you know, or maybe not a rapper, maybe it's a female vocalist or a male vocalist, whatever the scenario might be. You need dough to play the game. So, you know, it's more like, you know, building gradually for me that momentum back, because it really is about what you focus about in life. If you're focusing on making records, you should focus about making records. If you're focused on getting money and being on the road, do that. But it's hard to do both, you know, and that's why it's taken this long to make this record. You know, COVID, right before COVID though, I was basically in release mode. I released the first 2 singles from my album, and the first single's featuring Donnell Jones. It's called Understand. We got a video for that, so you got to check that out.
I will.
That definitely don't know about it need to know about that. So and Priceless is the next single as well, and that's out as well. And then, you know, I feel like I don't want to give away too much. I just let you know this album is gonna be worth the wait.
And when's it gonna come out?
That's the tricky question. I don't want to give away nothing too soon, because that's the way that you jinx it. You know, I've always said, you know, oh, we come out on my birthday, you know what I mean, or whatever. You know, I give these these dates that I have in my head, but that really is no good when you guys, you know, just need to know that it's a gradual process getting the business together. Now that I have this album wrapping up creatively, I can really start to think about all those elements, the business, because it's a trip how fast everything moves.
Yeah.
Now I'm back out on the road. I'm coming to you guys very soon. I'll be in London very soon. And, I'm all over. As soon as I get back, I'm traversing the United States all over. So,
Oh, okay.
you know,
So you're
yeah,
doing-
it doesn't stop. So as soon as I get a little free time, man, I'll try to make the most of it.
Talking of rappers, and I know you must get asked this question loads of times, what was it like working with Tupac?
Yeah, Tupac was just, he was just an inspiring soul. He was just a walking inspiration, because he really was like the type of person to kind of motivate. If you could go to jail and be in jail in the atmosphere of jail and be able to make it through jail, as long as he had to spend and under the circumstances of how high profile of a person he was,
Yeah.
and to be able to survive jail, be able to like keep your head together, write records, and come out of jail and write records like "Are You Still Down?" We did that together,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
energy was just like, look, man, life could be so much worse. Like, like we got to celebrate and use this time to make our music. Like, and if you're not doing like 3 joints a day, man, you ain't working. Like he was really, really
3 joints a day.
Yeah, he was intense.
Wow.
And that was the type of work ethic that he was on when he was in studio mode. He would be like literally like, I watched him do it, So, when we made that record, he would say, "Hey, let's go over to Studio B and check this out." And be in there, and he'd be finishing a record over there, So it was really, surreal thinking back now. But I mean, it's such an honor for me to rock that song, "Are You Still Down?" And
Yeah, of course.
And have people show the love for Tupac Shakur through my song, because I have a lot of love for Tupac and what, the brief moment that I knew him for. But I feel like this is my way of being able to remember him always. And if that lines up with other people and how they were touched by his music, then let's celebrate, man. That's my jam right there. That's his jam. Yeah.
But you're one of the few people that
I'll say tune. That's the tune.
Yeah.
Tune.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So what would you, a young person starting out in the industry, what advice would you give them if they wanted to be a musician, singer, songwriter, that kind of stuff?
Well, it depends on where you are at the level. I mean, obviously you got to take anything seriously that you're serious about, so take it seriously, just like a job. I mean, this is my job, so I don't do it unless I'm absolutely focused and I have a job and something in mind that I actually do. Very rarely do I go down there just on a whim and just be like, start floating around and kind of doing things. Another thing that I learned over time that really affected the music and the productivity was how to balance the party social life with making the music, because you kind of need the inspiration from the party social life, but that also can like evade the studio and then get in the way of the work process.
Yeah.
So it's like, know the difference between homies that are down to hang and just down to hang, and then the friends that are down to hang and actually be a part of the productivity, man. The ones that are congratulating you on a new idea, the ones that are saying that's dope and being a part of the energy, because that's just as important as being one of the guys who's pressing the buttons and making the beat. Like a lot of times it's that guy in the corner just like, yeah, man, like that, and so that's very important, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, make sure you got the good people around you, most importantly,
Yeah. So what music helped you through lockdown? Apart from your own music.
Man. Oh, well, you know what? I got a lot of that because I've been listening to my album, but actually so much music, man. I mean, first of all, I will say I'm so inspired by all the music that I hear all around, from, like I mentioned her before, Dua Lipa to Ariana Grande. I mean, The Weeknd to, even artists like Daniel Caesar and her, and what's his name? dang, I'm forgetting it. He just did the record with Babyface too. Roll some more. Roll some more. What's his name? Anyway, I'm forgetting his name. I mean, like even Travis Scott, his production. I mean, shoot, Mark Ronson. I mean, Bruno Mars. I mean, there's so much inspiration out there for people to check out now and to have in their daily lives. So during COVID right now, I was like really just living off of all the good music that's available right now, which is, but I also kind of did some digging and did some sort of like some discovery of some new things, man, which is amazing. I always loved the Isley Brothers, you know,
Yeah.
and so that smooth sound that they had with the guitars and just the mellow drums and the keyboards and Ron's voice, it stuck with me over the years. But then I discovered this group called Khruangbin, and they have this Isley Brothers thing to them. There is a trio, a girl bass player, a female bass player, and male guitar player, and a male drummer, and it's a black guy, and like I believe that she's like Latina, and I feel like the other guy's something, like he's something, but they play like a very very eclectic style, which is almost like Isley's, a little bit of like Thai kind of soul funk kind of thing. It's this very just different sound. It's almost like the type of music you can just put on and play in your house and just let it play and vacuum and just clean up, and it sets the mood, man. It sets the mood. So yeah, Khruangbin, if you haven't heard them, check them out. They're amazing. More of an instrumental thing, but I will say Leon, what's his name? Shoot, man. Leon Bridges is my absolute one of my favorite artists right now. Leon Bridges. His voice and his songwriting, his guitar playing. He actually features a lot with Khruangbin. They have an album they did together called Texas Sun, which is really, really dope. So if you haven't checked out Leon Bridges, check him out too.